I'm old, I'm puzzled, and I'm only able to change one of those. Just a few miles from Falling Water, there's another Frank Lloyd Wright designed home that's open to the public for tours. So after visiting Falling Water, I spent the night in Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania, and visited the house the next morning. The Hagen House at Kentuck Knob began in 1953 when the Hagens, owners of a major dairy company in western Pennsylvania, purchased 80 acres of mountain land east of their native Uniontown. As friends of the Kaufmans, owner of the nearby Falling Water, the Hagens asked the architect Frank Lloyd Wright, then 86 years old, to design a deluxe Usonian home for them. The house was completed in 1956, and the Hagens lived at Kentuck Knob for almost 30 years. In 1986, Lord Palumbo of London, England, bought the property for $600,000 as a vacation home. Since 1996, the Palumbo family have balanced their occupancy with a public tour program, a method of historic property management much more common in their native Britain than in the United States. From the Wikipedia article, Usonian usually refers to a group of approximately 60 middle-income family homes designed by Frank Lloyd Wright beginning in 1934. The Usonian homes are typically small, single-story dwellings without a garage or much storage. They are often L-shaped to fit around a garden terrace on unusual and inexpensive sites. They are characterized by natural materials, flat roofs, and large cantilevered overhangs for passive solar heating and natural cooling. Natural light with clear-story windows and radiant floor heating. Another distinctive feature is that they typically have little exposure to the front or public side, while the rear or private side are completely open to the outside. A strong visual connection between the interior and exterior spaces is an important characteristic of all Usonian homes. The word carport was coined by Wright to describe an overhang for sheltering a parked vehicle. Kentuck Knob was designed as 3 sides of a hexagon, and the hexagon design theme continued inside the house. In 1950, Wright commissioned a ceramic artist to create some 25 red tiles inscribed with his initials that were in an account preserved in the Wright archives, quote, intended to be placed on buildings designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, where the concession and final completion of the opus adhered to his specifications and thus received his personal approval, unquote. The tour guide was pleased to point out the red tile just outside of the main doorway, and more importantly, that Falling Water doesn't have one of these. Because the home is privately owned, there were personal pictures of the Palumbo family inside, so photography is not allowed inside on our tour. Any pictures of the interior I've used from an online article of the Pittsburgh Quarterly. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I'll also link to a good YouTube video showing the interior. The house is located on the hillside of Kentuck Knob, just below the summit. The south side of the house is 18 feet off the hillside, and the north end is buried into the hillside. The summit of Kentuck Knob gives a spectacular view of the surrounding area. The name Kentuck Knob is credited with the late 18th century settler David Askins, who intended to move from western Pennsylvania to Kentucky, but then reconsidered and remained at this very property, naming his tract of land Little Kentuck. Ever since, the summit of the property has been known as Kentuck Knob. The puzzle is a 1,000-piece puzzle from Puzzles Plus and has an image of the 18-foot prow of the house and the overhanging roof line. So let's do this. So thanks for watching the video. Also in the comments is a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page if you'd like to support this channel. And subscribe to this channel to see what other nonsense I can get up to. Because, you know, I'm old, I'm bored, and I'm only able to change one of those.